We are live.
Alrighty.
Hello,
Awesome.
everyone. We are Apps Alchemy. Here today we have Jim Bankich. He is our head of health to safety and is our on the team medic. I am Aymee-Lynne Newstead. Got married. Fun facts. To hold on. Right?
Wow.
Starting off strong. To my right is Damon Jacobs. He is our head founder and head of there's my words. It's
the man
gone.
in charge.
I did.
He is the man in charge.
I run the damn team.
And then right across from me is Susan Goff and Jen Coriel. I didn't want to get that mixed up, so I'm sorry. Susie is the co-manager of this team and has been on the team for longer than I have, and Jen has been here for
3 years.
3 years and is our secretary. And on the other screen is Christina Bloom, who is officially a full member of this team, and we love her and adore her so much.
And we use her and abuse her when we can.
We
whenever
do.
possible, but fortunately, I'm not right in the neighborhood, so they don't get to use me in abuse.
It's long distance abuse. She can hide.
It's long distance.
She runs away, but she still can't find that far.
I keep coming back. It's like I'm on this bungee cord. I just keep coming back.
Yes. We haven't scared her away yet.
Well, we try.
She tried to run away, but she said she keeps coming back. We do that to people. Right, Jim?
Yes, you do.
He tried to leave.
It didn't work.
We're like the Hotel California. You can check it anytime you want, but you can never leave.
Exactly. I apologize. I don't have a lot of voice today. I did a lot of talking yesterday, so... Yeah, I was at the Spirits in the Spring Paracon yesterday, and it was way cool. And if you have never been to any type of a Paracon or a fair or anything like that in an abandoned building,
Ooh.
I highly recommend it. It was way cool.
That sounds awesome.
Well, you're going to see it next month.
That is true.
Yes.
I literally just ordered clothes from you and Roman, so.
Nice. She's running away.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Gotcha.
I'll fill you in later.
I got confuzzled.
But today's topic for this lovely livecast is the correlation between paranormal activity and neurodivergency. Something that I'm very familiar with since I'm neurodivergent myself.
Well, you just keep telling yourself that. We'll use that as an excuse.
I'm diagnosed with ADHD.
Yes, you are.
Suspected with some little bit of autism.
No. Okay, then.
So expand on your...
So I'm just taking...
Well, first, why don't we say what neurodivergent means for those people that might not know?
So neurodivergency is... So you have neurotypical and then you have neurodivergent. Neurotypical is how the brain is atypical, meaning it's the way that we have basis of what the brain is supposed to look like, how it's supposed to function, and how it's supposed to correlate with the body. Operate's a great word. Neurodivergent means that brain works differently, so, like how you find with people with ADHD or with autism, or especially people with odd ADHD, which is people with autism and ADHD. It's a term that people who have those terms, both of those, they made a term for themselves and it became AUDHD. There's other things as well. People who have developmental conditions and neurological conditions are things also as well. People who have developmental
Oops. A little echoing going on there.
I'm like, what is happening?
I heard my own voice and I thought I was going nuts. More than I already am.
It's okay. It's,
You still love me.
The control department is having issues, not you. We looked at you. And
issues.
Your lips were not moving, but we heard your voice. But, we are talking about neurodivergence, so I was a little confused.
But no, it's... So neurodivergence... Sorry.
Wow, use your words, Aymee-Lynne.
Those were words, just not words that you know.
Clearly.
They're automatopoeias. I can say that, but I can't say other words. It's really
And
struggling.
Aymee-Lynne's had a lot of sugar today.
I can see that.
So what do you think the connection is between neurodivergent and paranormal?
So with the paranormal, you have a lot of, as we talked about, you have to be able to look at the world differently and understand it. People with neurodivergency, especially with autism and ADHD, they already see the world in a different light than people with an atypical function.
Mm-hmm.
They have an abnormal function of where their neurons connect and how they operate and how they're stimulated. And neurons are the parts of your brain that are, it's kind of like the electricity of the brain, and how, like, if you have an interest of a topic, and for most people, that topic lights up similar topics in the brain or thoughts. Someone with neurodivergency, that can light up something about dinosaurs, or for me, a lot of times it's to movie references or to whatever book I'm reading. It just always links back to those special interests that one might have. I forgot to breathe. I need to breathe.
Aymee-Lynne, you got to remember to breathe there, kiddo.
Another thing is, like, a lot of times if you get interest into a fact that we forget to breathe, or we have speech impediment issues, but we're really quite smart, but we see the world in a different light, and we see things in a different way, and we might think more outside of the box than other people, or we think inside the box when we need to think inside the box, kind of thing. And it's more of, because we can see the way things are different, we are easily, there shows more evidence of kids with autism and or people on the spectrum, especially children, that they are more likely to have paranormal experiences as a child than someone without those divergencies.
Is it due to the fact that they're more open?
Yeah. So they're more open to whatever is in front of them or in their surrounding areas.
That's outside the scope of normal.
Yeah,
viewing.
quote unquote. Yeah, definitely. And there are some articles I've suspected might even be genetics.
So Sarah, who can't make it tonight, wanted to just chime in with neurodivergent brains are wired differently. Therefore, we are more prone to sensory issues and more sensitive.
Yes.
Definitely much more sensitive to energy.
Yep.
And energy shifts, without a doubt. Yeah.
Yeah, because, like, if you ever know someone who's neurodivergent, you know that they get overstimulated super easily and they get overwhelmed. There's reasons that, like, the slightest little thing can trigger them, because you can hear electricity, you hear the air, you can see it, and, like, you can feel the clothes on your skin. And when, especially, like, when there's in a large room, you know it's full of porn.
Wow, that explains a lot.
Wow.
That's to a different level. That's a different show, Aymee-Lynne.
Yeah, different show.
Some hot mic stuff going on here. Wow.
Talk about neurodivergent.
Right?
Porno.
I guess it's good. We only have, we just lost a viewer. Thanks a lot, Aymee-Lynne.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I meant paranoid.
It's all good. We know where her head is right now, so if we could bring you back,
Reel it in, Aymee-Lynne.
But, like, it's something I've experienced, being the person has the differently wired brain, which there could be many reasons for that one. But, like, if I get into a room, especially in that last investigation we had, there's some points in time where I just feel so overwhelmed, I shut down, and I have to shut everything off, else I'm going to have a panic attack, kind of thing.
Is it due to the overstimulation of all your senses at once? Or one in particular?
It can... So it all depends on the situation. I think at some points in time, it's mostly a combination, but there's definitely times when it's just one or two things that are just happening at the same time at intense volume or intense moments that it just hard to comprehend and categorize in the brain. Catalog is the word I think I'm going for. And the best way, think of, you have like 3 vials in your system. One's for physical contact, one's for mental contact, social contact, and the other is your mental status and emotions. And if one gets filled, it starts overflowing to the other, and it flows into the other, and all of them, it just overflows. And you can't hold it anymore.
And now you can't separate it because they're all together.
Jumbled
And
together.
especially like in a professional setting, when I have to be professional, I have to keep a certain face on, which is a mask. It gets even harder to regulate.
Filter?
Regulate. Masking is like taking my fidgets and all the things that I want to do and suppressing them so I can seem atypical. I'm filtering my words, I'm filtering my movements, I'm filtering my interactions, my eye contact, when I make eye contact, it's not just like, oh, we're making eye contact conversation. I'm thinking about how long, when do I look away, how long do I do this? It's because it's uncomfortable for most times. But
so Sarah wanted to add in, the overstimulation is the reason we see, hear, and sense things that non-neurodivergent brains can't.
For me, it's smell. I find smell very overwhelming sometimes. And I know a lot of times if I'm in a paranormal situation, smell will be one of my first signs that something's going on. It happened at one of the recent investigations we did where it was just so I wanted to run out of the building. It was just so intense.
And I feel like people with neurodivergency, they have a better way of getting to the ability to have the clair audio, clairvoyance, claircognizance, but it's hard to get
Claire
to that.
Huxtable.
Cut his mic.
Mute
Look, if Todd were on, he would already been saying it by now.
That's
We'll
true.
just put it
Yeah.
right there. Todd would have already said it.
So you're channeling Todd. Good.
I am channeling Todd. I don't have the magnificent beard like Todd has, but I'm working on it.
We got the beer man right here.
Slowly.
It's all good.
Yes. Jim is definitely putting Todd at a rivalry with the beard.
So what you're saying is it takes
Hey,
two
Jim.
of us to equal one of Todd.
Yes.
Yes.
Gotcha.
What was I saying?
You were just
the clairs.
describing exactly why you're neurodivergent.
And how some neurodivergent people will have more abilities with the different clairs, whether it's clairaudient, clairsentient.
But it takes because of the simulation, because like the way we think, we don't just have autism and ADHD. A lot of times that comes with depression, it comes with anxiety, it comes with dysmorphia. It comes with a bunch of other stuff because we live in a neurotypical world.
So for those that are unfamiliar with the word, what is dysmorphia?
Dysmorphia is you can't see your body the way it is or think of your body the way it is. You have difficulties looking at yourself in a positive light. Even though I'm not fat, I still can't stop thinking that I am due to past experiences. And like what you say to children absolutely matter because that'll stick with them for the rest of their lives, especially people with neurodivergencies, because that stuff sticks and will always stick.
Does that go with the focus and the
The hyperfixation, mixing two words there.
I'm actually wondering if, like, we're in the paranormal situation, and if we are interacting with entities and spirits, if they can tell that someone is neurodivergent and therefore go to them.
Absolutely.
Because they know they'll be heard or seen or something.
You'll be more open to
Sarah gave an example. She said that anorexia is a form of dysmorphia.
Yes.
Yeah. I was going to say that too. Yeah. Anorexia is definitely a form where no matter how thin you are, you still look in the mirror and see everything.
I do want to correct a little bit. Anorexia is not a form of dysmorphia. Dysmorphia is a large symptom of anorexia.
Yeah, I mean, that can go hand in hand. It's
They
like, squares are rectangle, rectangles on a square kind of thing.
Yeah.
So.
Because anorexia is one of the I don't want to say mutilations. It's one of the ways you treat the body and how the body end up. It's the body's mass and like you're malnourished for an extended long period of time. Because you can have dysmorphia and have binge and purge. You can have dysmorphia. Eating disorders and dysmorphia go hand in hand a lot of the times.
Yeah.
But you can also have dysmorphia and not have an eating disorder.
But going back to what Jen said, yes, I mean there's 100% they'll go to somebody who's more open, and neurodivergency creates that openness,
like-minded,
because you're not the programming to not believe isn't there, so to speak.
Not only that, your sensitivities are completely different.
Yep.
Which is why you can smell things before anybody else can smell things, because that's your sensitivity. Somebody will hear things that nobody else can hear. And, did you hear that? No, I'm telling you, there's voices over there. I don't hear the voices.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And another thing is like people with, like, at least for me, like I hear electricity, so I always have that ringing going on in my head. So if I hear something beyond the ringing, I know I heard something. And that's why, like, does someone say my name? And because, like, our brains will automatically try to create something.
Mm-hmm.
And my name is one of those things because I'm just hyper aware of it due to my background.
Well, you have an unusual name.
I do have a unusual name. And usually I heard as a child was Aymee-Lynne. And I didn't know if my dad was trying to call me or my mother. But that's another story. But it's... I find it interesting how something so complex in the mind makes something more easier to do. But it also has challenges because we live in a neurotypical world. We're told we shouldn't have these things. It's wrong to be this way when it's absolutely not. I just want to point that out. Having autism and having ADHD or having both is absolutely perfectly, I'm not going to say normal, because it's absolutely perfect not to be normal. And it's, in my opinion, better to be normal. Better not to be normal. Better to be abnormal.
There you go.
I find it interesting that the general belief is that we live in a neurotypical world when I come in contact with a lot of people, literally hundreds of people in a day sometimes. Mm-hmm. And I would say that more often than not, I run into people who are neurotypical. Mm-hmm. Or neuro-non-typical. See, now I'm doing the same thing Aymee-Lynne's doing. But I am looking, more of the people that I meet are neurodivergent. Now, maybe that's because I work in the paranormal field full time, but also just out there in general public. Have you seen the way some people drive? That is not typical brain behavior. No, you know what I'm saying?
I'm a teacher. I see
we call those Torods
every day.
Yes.
Atypical, I think, is probably much more normal than typical. Mm-hmm. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, I don't really think that neurotypical is the norm. I think it's something that, I don't know, somebody made up somewhere, but it certainly is not the norm.
I say that it's, we live in an atypical life, like a neurotypical life, because that's what the world is catered to. They don't cater to the people, which is the majority of people who are neurodivergent.
Right.
It's like the world's catered to right-handed people, even though there's a good 10%, even though that looks small in percentage, that's a huge amount of people who are left-handed.
Right.
Well, like my son, when he started school, he was ambidextrous, and the teachers were having a fit because he wasn't picking a dominant hand. And I'm like, what difference does it make? I'm like, if he can write, he can spell, he can.
I'm left-handed.
I don't care if he switches back and forth, but they actually decided he was left-handed and put a oven mitt on his right hand so that he wouldn't use it while he was trying to write. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. That's so yeah. Or back in the day, if you didn't write with your right hand, you were evil.
Oh, yes. That happened.
Oh, yeah. Left-handed people were witches.
Yes.
Yes, I know. Thank you.
Okay, so Sarah pointed out again, add another one here. She said some believe neurodivergent brains may be connected to astro traveling and dream walking.
Oh, interesting.
I really like that train of thought. I do.
Me too. Because
that is that describes one of our former founding members to a T.
It does, yeah.
That's Matt
To a T.
to a T.
Yeah.
Dot the I's,
absolutely.
cross the T's. That's
Mm-hmm.
well, do a loop on the A and then cross the 2 T's. But
Yeah.
Okay.
Exclamation point with a little heart underneath.
Note to self before the next podcast.
make sure Aymee-Lynne takes her meds.
No,
Well, there's that, too.
You're restricted from coffee. You're restricted from
I
sugar.
didn't have coffee.
Okay, maybe you
You
need
had
coffee.
chocolate.
That's not coffee.
There's caffeine in
caffeine.
chocolate.
Oh, good lord.
Yes, but it's not coffee.
All right. But yeah, Sarah says yes, Matt to a T. Matt, one of our former members, he very much could astral travel and dream walk without batting an eye.
When I went to Possum, I met some people like that, and they're absolutely neurotypical. Not neurodivergent. Gosh, words.
Wow,
so
we're having
hard.
a hard time with words today.
And honestly, this is one of the reasons
Mercury's in
why
retrograde.
I like the paranormal world and the paranormal community because they're embraced.
Yep.
They're not looked at as being different. They're not looked at as being abnormal. They're looked at as being one of the fam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's an open community.
Right. I agree with you completely. I'm on the board for the Paracon that's coming up in Plattsburgh this year. And boy, I'm telling you, like everybody in the paranormal field, we're all right in it. We're we're creative.
Yep.
We're intelligent. We are, we can really hyper focus, even though the thought about ADHD is that you don't focus, we can hyper focus.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, when there's something really interesting. And I just love that combination of intelligence, creativity, and focus.
I was going to say it's because they see the world differently to begin with.
And another
Right.
thing I like to point out is if you ever look in the DSM-5 and the history of how the symptoms came about, they looked at young boys for the symptoms. So the diagnostics for girls and young adult women and even adult women, it's so different in how they mask, how they present, how they do things. And
Well, the chemistry of the body alone is different.
exactly. And that's one of the reasons why we have such an issue right now with there's a boom in people being diagnosed with ADHD and autism. That's because we're just finding out what these other symptoms are for the different people of different brain activities.
But my issue is they're still giving a blanket result or when you go to the doctors and you get diagnosed, it's still a blanket. Everybody gets diagnosed the same way. Everyone gets given the same medication, and there are ways of dealing with it without medication.
Oh, absolutely.
And I wish that was pushed more than it is right now.
And I agree. Like sometimes people.
I'm not necessarily saying herbal remedies, but there are other ways of dealing with it that is not even being discussed, especially in schools.
Before we kind of segue into our next topic, I think this actually might be a good time to kind of mention something that is kind of near and dear and kind of close to all of our hearts at this point. And that's just, we want to remind people that, especially for those who are neurodivergent and those who are not, who also have some sort of mental health condition or suspect you might or something like that. We want to remind everybody that, you're more than welcome to you can talk to anybody anytime. You can email us if you want to talk to us about stuff, info@appsparanormal.org, but we want to remind people that, there is people that are willing to talk to you. And that would be at the suicide prevention hotline. The number is 1-800-273-TALK, or 1-800-273-8255. You can also dial 988 now. They have a 3-digit number to dial now to do that.
And I feel like some people take things too literally about that. Because something I learned recently, you don't have to have suicidal thoughts to call them.
Yep.
You can call them at any point in time when you're feeling down, and they will help you figure out what the next steps to do is. Yep. Just because their name is Suicide Prevention Hotline doesn't mean that you have to be on the brink of it.
And again, and you can bring it to our group chat. You can bring it to the Sandy and Toddcast group chat, nobody is going to judge you. Everybody's here to help, for sure.
100%.
100%. You are loved, you are cared about, and even if you think that there isn't someone, there is. And they might not be there now, but they will be there soon.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely.
So I just wanted to get that in there because this is the neurodivergent topic is a sensitive topic to begin with, and I just want to make sure that we're everybody's aware that there are places you can go and talk to
for help.
Yep. Absolutely.
We all need help at some point for something.
I definitely did.
Yeah. And it's continuous. It just runs the loop.
Yeah.
So if it was kind of interesting, we were talking about it's kind of interesting we were talking about the astro traveling and dream walking, because that kind of segues into the other half of this live cast, which was discussing angels and spirit guides.
Yes.
And that's something I don't know a ton about.
Well, buckle up,
I know,
Buttercup.
that's what I figured. That's why I'm here.
There's not much I know about it, but I know enough to get by.
I'm pretty sure there's somebody that's on the line over in Cheeseville that might be able to help us a little better
True.
than.
Like, I don't remember who. Oh, there's this one
I
lady.
think we brought somebody on the team that lives in Wisconsin that might know.
Yeah. I'm here, and I actually help people meet their spirit guides
Oh, wow.
and their angels. That's one of the things that I do.
I just got chills.
You're about to learn something.
Mm.
The teacher becomes the student.
I think I'm lucky in one of the retrospects I've met mine.
So,
So
yeah,
So it's
Sarah,
on Christina.
thank you,
well, it's
Sarah.
not all on Christina.
No, it isn't all on, but Sarah just posted, thanks to
Oh, yep.
Christina, I got to know my spirit guide.
Yes.
So,
Oh, wow.
thank
Oh,
you for
that's
mentioning
awesome.
that, Sarah.
Easy
Yeah,
there, killer.
because
Oh,
for me, doing a psychic reading, part of that often is that I'm talking to that person's spirit guides. Well, as long as I'm talking to them, I might as well tell you who they are.
Right.
Yeah. for
Right.
sure.
So
Now, does everyone have spirit guides and angels?
everyone has at least one spirit guide, at least, because that's who that is literally our guide when we come into the world. That's who helps us get through the physical world, is that main spirit guide. So we all have one. Some of us have two that help us go from when we enter the physical world until we leave the physical world. They are with us at least that long. They might be with us on the other side too. I don't know for sure. That part I don't know about yet, but we have at least those. And then we have others that come and go as we need them based on what we're doing in our lives. Right. So I call them task specific, which is actually hard to say in 2 words, but I call them task specific spirit guides because some of them come in just to help us with certain things. Right. So let's say when you're in school, sometimes you can have a spirit guide that helps you as you're learning, specifically in college or graduate school. That's when they really seem to come in strong to help you get through that. Relationship, sometimes we have relationship guides, particularly if we have a history of difficulty in relationships. And that's not always romantic relationships. That's like all relationships, right? So, we have different guides that come and go when we're learning. When we're just not, I'm not going to say learning spirituality because I don't think we learn it. I think we have it and we become aware of it. So when we start becoming aware of our spirituality, I think that there are guides that step up and help us kind of get through that initial, like, what the hell is going on? I think we've all kind of been there, right? Where that phase is. So we have those spirit guides. I'm Native American and I'm well aware of spirit animals. And I know that there are some other Native Americans who do not believe that anyone outside of that community actually has animal guides, but I disagree with that because there are animals all over the planet. Right. So, we all see the same squirrels and chipmunks and deer and whatever. So every time I see animal guides with every single person I read, there's at least one animal guide. And when we have an animal guide, we want to, okay, so mine is skunk, right? My main animal guide is a skunk. There it is. It's out there. Skunks are all about energy. and they give 3 warnings before they spray. And that fits my personality to a T. Because I will hardly ever go off on anyone the first time they come at me, or maybe not even the second time. But if you're coming at me 3 times, you're going to get sprayed and you're not going to like it.
I feel like I don't want to be around for that.
Christina.
So y'all been warned. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, generally the spirit guides that we have, I don't know if they match our personalities or if they guide our personalities, but it does seem to dovetail. It could be a mix of both. It does dovetail though. Mm-hmm. And I can't think of one instance where it hasn't dovetailed. So that's kind of my general brief overview of spirit guides.
Can an animal guide be a chihuahua?
Sure, why not? Generally, it comes across as dog, but it can be a chihuahua.
Can your animal guide change?
Oh yeah, mine have. Yeah. I mean, I've always had skunk, but I used to have great horned owl. Now, if you know anything about nature, a great horned owl is the only animal that will actually eat a skunk.
Yep.
So, that was like this internal struggle I had going on in the self-hatred thing that I was working on getting over for a long time. Once I got through that and just went, you know what, I'm pretty damn cool. I like myself. Then the owl went away.
Very cool.
Okay, so so if your internal struggles can reflect, your animals can reflect your internal struggles.
Yes. Or vice versa. I'm not really sure which direction that goes in, but yes.
Interesting.
I like that. I like that point of view.
I just noticed I'm the only one not wearing an app shirt.
I'm not.
Why is that?
We're working on it.
Mine's the wash.
He just likes wearing black.
Apparently you all do.
I do. Today was the first time I wore white in years. Wedding dress does not count because technically it wasn't white.
It was cream.
It was cream and black.
Speaking of neurodivergence.
Right? And speaking of those squirrels.
Yes.
Squirrel? Where?
Exactly.
Doggy.
I think your squirrel was a spirit guide.
I think you're right.
I was told it was a rabbit.
Well,
that's pretty cool.
Well, they run around like nuts too, so
close enough.
So,
just keep them from running in the road.
Christina, how would you go about actually? One of the things I learned about spirit guide was actually from your book and from your podcast. And in one of your podcasts, you were saying that we could actually ask for a name of said spirit guide.
Yes.
And I've done that. And I'm not going to reveal what the names are here, but I find when I'm meditating and I'm trying to find not necessarily an answer, but at least direction on something that I'm looking for or trying to do, I will call on those particular ones. Mm-hmm. And I recently, I had an image of a guide, which was Native American. I have no Native American in me.
That's okay.
And I heard Cherokee, which again, I have no connection with Cherokees. And recently, he told me he was grandfather. Well, I'm very close to one of my grandfathers. I was. And I just assumed, I said, oh, you're my grandfather. He said, no, I am grandfather. I said, okay, you're on dad's side or mom's side? No, I am grandfather. That's all I heard.
Right.
So
that's elder.
That's
grandfather is an elder. It's not your grandfather.
Right. Mm-hmm. And then I got the Cherokee in my head again. And I went, oh, wait a minute. If it's Native American and he's grandfather, then he's grandfather to the whole tribe.
Right.
So,
but here's all right. This is a Native American joke, and I get to tell it because I am one. So,
go ahead.
What do you call 67 Native Americans in a row?
What?
One Cherokee. Because everybody claims to be a Cherokee. Like, I've got one drop of Native blood. I'm Cherokee. It's like everybody claims that.
Yeah, no,
I'm not claiming that.
I can vouch for, at least I'm assuming the DNA is right. There were stories while I was growing up that but there's nothing there.
Right.
But I just found that interesting. Of all the spirit guides that I could have, I have a Native American.
Right. Well, that's because what you're learning. That's what you brought with you to learn, right? So, and look where you live. You live in the mountains.
Yes.
You live in the wilderness, so
Yes.
it would make sense that you would have a guide that's
You're a
familiar
hop,
with
skip, and
wilderness.
jump away from a former reservation.
Yes, I am.
Well, I work on a reservation.
Yeah.
I teach on a reservation.
I have a question because it's kind of referring to you a little bit. If someone who is Native American kind of pseudo-adopts somebody, would that have an effect on their spirit guides?
It can. It really, okay, so I get what you say with pseudo-adopt, because that happens a lot. Like, we want to make you part of our family, so boom, you're part of our family. You guys did it with me. You adopted me. So, but
Yeah,
yes,
we
because
can't really send those papers back either.
no, you
tried.
cannot.
We burn them as soon as we get them, so there's no turning back.
You're stuck with me, Damon.
There's some fine
We
print.
release it to the wind.
There's an acceptance ceremony, and it has a bonfire, has a paperwork, and all your release information goes away.
There you go.
Yeah.
But to answer your question, if that happens, it's usually because you showed an interest in the culture.
Okay. So in my house, a set of moccasins were found that I found out were from South Dakota.
Okay.
And they were definitely Lakota.
Mm-hmm.
So I found some other paraphernalia that would be related to them, and I have them on my wall in my house as a symbol of, I acknowledge who you are, what you are, and what is associated with you.
Mm-hmm.
And I also, the raven is one of my spirit animals.
Okay.
That's what Aymee-Lynne is referring to. She thinks because of that, that's why grandfather came to me.
It could be that you found those items and put them up because he was already there.
Yeah, I was just going to say that.
It can go both ways.
Okay, that makes
So,
absolute sense.
That's
too.
some chicken and egg shit right there.
It sure is. It sure is.
That's very cool.
So how do you go about finding your spirit guides if you've never tried?
Meditation.
And you just ask?
You just ask.
Mhm.
Yeah. I have a guided meditation that can take you to a place to meet your guides. If you're interested, I can lean you towards. I don't know if I ever recorded that one, but I do have one for it.
Cool.
It might be
Awesome,
on my
awesome.
website. I don't know. There's a bunch of them on my website.
She hasn't checked in a couple
No,
years.
no shameless
Yeah.
plugs there, is there?
No shameless plugs at all. Besides, they're free on my website. So what am I plugging?
Right? Exactly.
Listen to
No shameless plug.
No.
Zero.
And I also didn't give my website. So
Oh, there is that. Yes.
We'll add that to the list.
Yeah. Well, yeah. We got a whole bunch of extra tickers we got to put up on this here stream here the next time we do a live. So, what was I going to say?
I don't know. I can't read your brain.
we were talking about angels and spirit guides.
Yes, that's where I was
Yeah.
going.
Yeah, I've only recently started working with angels for years.
I was
I
going to
have
say,
a
is there a
question.
different...
So, as a child, I remember every time I was the typical Catholic girl. I kneeled at my bedside and I prayed to the angel to put me to sleep, let me wake up in the morning kind of bullshit. And, well, it's not bullshit, but in my brain it is now because of what I do. But then I could feel the presence of angels. I could think of them. I could see them. Like, if I opened my eyes, I could practically see them, kind of thing. But as I grew older, it kind of went away. Is it normal for, like, them to pull back as you grow? Or in, like, other things to come in? And, like, your path to completely take a 180 shift in spirituality?
Oh, a lot of people do that. A lot of people do that. Yeah. And as far as angels coming go, it's really what you're paying attention to.
I was going to say, do they really
Yeah.
leave, or do you just not see or feel them anymore because you've taken that step back? They're still there. You just have to acknowledge their presence.
Yeah. Yeah.
True.
Mind blown.
No, it's the light bulb is fizzing.
So her squirrel spirit animal has ran out of lettuce on the wheel in her brain.
It's a rabbit.
Okay, so the rabbit has ran out of lettuce in the wheel in her brain, and that's why the light bulb is fizzling.
Did someone just say squirrel in a weird way? Or
I did.
Okay. I was
So,
my ears.
finding your angel guides, would that work the same way? As you're meditating, you focus on them coming forward and asking them for guidance or who they are?
Yeah, Sarah
Yes.
said something. We still pray to angels such as the Archangel Michael before investigation.
Yes.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that.
Yeah, like I still believe in them. It's just I just don't feel their presence as prominent as I did as a child.
Well, here's the thing about belief. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It makes absolutely no difference. If angels and spirit guides exist, they exist whether you believe in them or not.
True. Yeah, absolutely.
That's just, you
Like,
can
that's
believe,
why-
you can say, I don't believe in the ocean because I've never seen one, but you're
there.
still going to get wet if you walk into one. So, it's kind of the same thing. So that's just, I don't know, when people say, oh, I believe in this, well, good for you, because it's here whether you do or not, because it just is,
Like, that's one of the things, like, I believe in all religions. It's just I choose the path that I wish to go down.
Right,
And
exactly.
There's angels I still pray to, well, technically his name is Yeshua, Jesus, but Yeshua, which way you, anyways,
Use your words.
Whichever way you choose to see him.
yes, thank
there
you, that.
we go. Yeah.
My
Yes.
words have betrayed me today.
That's okay. Your aunt's here to save you.
As always. But like I've been focusing a lot on ancestry, and especially my father. When my dad passed away, I kind of fell away from that because I had trouble dealing with the fact that there was this omniscient being who could help people, but he didn't help my father. And now, as an older person, it's like I know there was no helping dad at that point.
It was his time.
It was his time, for one, and two, it's genetics, it's cancer, it's a mutation of the cells where our bodies are free and cannot be controlled by omniscient being. We're just living. We're free beings. But like my ancestors, I look into Norse pathology more often now, and Greek pathology. So, Norse, Celt. Same difference.
Not really. I mean, yes and no.
That's why I say same difference. Not same thing, same difference.
Boy,
there is a
they-
difference.
We'll save that for another podcast.
Wow.
If I get into that, we're going to have another podcast.
We'll have a special outline.
It's a good thing we've got another hour worth of podcast to record.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
How about that? I do want to say that I probably have a very unpopular idea of what angels are, because to me, they're a species. They're not dead people with wings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
always
So
felt that
angels
way,
are
too.
like their own
I'm
species.
raising my
always been
hand like I'm in
angels.
school.
Yeah.
Angels are just creepy looking. I'm gonna be honest. Because if you read the Bible and you read the description of the angels, they're not men with wings. They're a bunch of spherical rings with eyeballs all over it, with an eye in the middle. Like, that's creepy.
I love how people always like go to the book
not
of the
cherubs.
newest religion.
Yeah.
Right? Like, let's not go to any of the old ancient religions. Let's go to the newest one and use that one as the thing that we talk about. That never made sense to me.
My favorite thing is like people are like, oh, they look like this. I was like, that's a cherub. That is not what they look like.
Yeah, that's the facade. That's
Yeah.
The romanticized version.
Yeah,
of,
pretty much. Yeah.
Let's not get
But
started.
whatever. I mean, it's, angels are in my world, they're a species. So,
Yeah, that makes sense.
and
actually.
every species has good and bad. Every
Yeah.
species has nice and not nice. Every species has, everything. So why would that be any different?
Okay, so that brings another question to my brain.
Mm-hmm.
So as you're meditating and you're asking for guidance and you're calling on your angels, how do you filter what comes through?
By how it feels.
Okay.
By how it feels. If something comes through and it makes you uncomfortable, I would say don't accept that. That would be my advice. If something comes through and it makes you kind of go, I don't know about that, then don't accept it.
What if everything makes you feel icky?
Well, there's medication for that.
Yeah. That might be a whole different realm altogether.
I'm going to give you a different number that you need to call. Your husband kind of works there.
I am now deaf.
Hey, Jim, how are your ears?
Oh, my Lord.
And on that note, we're going to just cut that mic right now.
Yes, thank
The dog
you.
is coming to rescue him. Hug the dog. Dogs are special.
It's okay, Aymee-Lynne.
Oh my god, I'm sorry. That cracked me up.
Scared the freaking dog.
I was so confused, and then he said where my husband works, and I just lost
Poor
it.
Willow's like, when did we get a pig? And
Oh,
on
my
that note, we
goodness.
have literally just lost the entire show right there.
We have. Yeah, that's been happening to me. This is like the second time in a week that's happened to me. Like the show just totally out of control.
I
Oh,
am
boy.
an out of control being, and I'm proud of it.
Sarah's laughing her butt off too.
Yeah.
Oy vey.
All right.
But
Should I
anyways,
tell him? No.
Not that
No.
I'm the world's expert
who
on all
knows?
of this stuff, but you did ask me questions, so I answered
Oh yeah,
them.
and I mean, out of all of us, you do have, I would say, more experience with that type of thing. So
Yeah, probably.
absolutely.
I've been doing
And
this for a while.
expertise of the team.
Well, I wrote a book, so I must be an expert, right?
Well,
Yes, of course. Absolutely.
about that.
Yeah.
We're not going to get into the whole authors and whether they're
No.
experts or not conversation.
Exactly my point.
If
Thank
that's
you
the thing,
very
I'm an
much.
expert in fantasy.
Oh boy. And
Just
on
not
that note,
published yet.
Yeah, maybe we just ought to like say, hey guys, thanks for listening. I hope you
Yeah,
learned something
yeah.
today. And if you didn't, I hope you at least got a good laugh
well,
out
I mean,
of it.
we get about 45 minutes on the live. That's not bad.
If you want us to do more about neurodivergency and psychology, let us know in the
Yep.
comments. If you want to hear more about spirit guides and spirit animals,
actually, I got one more question for Christina.
Okay.
Oh, poor Aymee-Lynne couldn't get her spiel done. Okay,
Sorry,
Go
Emily.
for it.
You
She
have
can
to try
start
it again.
over.
yeah, she will.
So, as with angels, for every angel, especially if there's a species, they've got to be dark angels. Are demons dark angels?
I know absolutely zero about demons. I
Okay.
literally
That's
don't
like
know
for every reaction,
anything
equal and
about
opposite
demons.
reaction.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so here's the thing about that, and I have a theory. I believe this is my theory. It could be completely wrong.
Oh
but
boy,
this is
you
my
better
personal
sit down,
theory.
Christina.
I am. I'm sitting. I got my cool
Buck-
chair. Do you see my
buckle-
cool chair
buckle
here?
up.
I see that.
One
Yeah,
of the theories
I'm
I had is
sitting.
demons are children of dark angels. Does that make sense? And there's different levels of demons,
They're
like
they're
or that
Children-
created by.
Or are they fallen angels?
I feel like the more heavily affiliated,
use your mic.
deeper in the like the ones that are like more potent, the more powerful demons are probably fallen angels, especially.
I
the big
mean,
one.
demon is one of those overused words.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's kind of
Yeah.
where I was
Here's-
going
here's
with
the
this.
thing.
And
They-
that's the thing is every single and here we go back to our soapbox again with every single freaking paranormal show on TV and on TikTok. Oh,
my
it's
God,
demonic.
yes.
Oh, it's a demon. Oh, I'm possessed.
See, this is where I'm going with this.
Well,
I
Thank
do
you.
believe there is light and dark.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you
Do I
can't
think
have
they're-
one without.
Breathe.
Hold on.
Breathe.
Yes, you can't have light without the dark. You have to have the yin with the yang. And this is where I go with the angels. You've got to have good and bad.
You're next.
Okay, go ahead, Aymee-Lynne.
Okay,
Before
so
she explodes on me.
it was a bit holding.
That'll be very messy.
So in that you brought up something that I learned recently about Greek mythology, and I loved it.
Take a breath.
Have you ever heard of Nyx?
Yes.
Yes.
Nyx?
She's one of my guides.
I love that. Nyx is darkness, and her husband, I can't remember his name on the top of my head, is night. And they're always together. They were the first ones, and from them they had two children, who end up being the god and goddesses of light and day. And so they walk around the earth, and that's all that. That's how they came. Darkness came before light, because you can't have light without darkness. So when we're talking about that, there's an which I find interesting because we always put light in as like, oh, that came first, and like in Christianity, you have the light angels first, but were they really first? Because darkness has to come before light.
What came first, the chicken or the egg?
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Or were they created simultaneously because you can't have one without the other?
This is true.
In most, I'm not going to say all, in most studies of pathology that I have learned, in Greek, Roman, even Norse, and there's another, I think Egyptian, the darkness always came before light. And every
one was created to counteract the other.
Yeah.
To balance
Yes.
the other.
Yeah. Because you have darkness first, and what you have to have something cut through. You can't have light and have something created from that. Well, you can, I guess, but like in most
again, it goes to the old
Yeah.
argument of light versus dark, and I believe guides are the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I have a guide that I believe is on,
Erebus.
Dances
Erebus
with
is
my
her
dark
husband's
side.
name. I remember that.
Oh boy. All right. So yeah, if anybody
Anyways.
has any more they want to learn about or ask us about neurodivergent and paranormal connections or spirit guides and angels, shoot us an email.
Put it in the comments.
Well, there's only one viewer. And that would be Sarah. So
Hey, I shared it on all my pages. So.
Yeah, well, this is going to go up on YouTube, and it'll be on audio next month anyway. So,
like in the comments, write something down. If this is on Facebook and you're on our Facebook page, add us at a Facebook page. If you are one of our alchemists, let us know what subject you want us to talk about next. We're
definitely looking for new subjects to talk about, new
or
topics.
to enlarge on current a topic that we already discussed, but they want to
expand on.
Yeah.
You can email us at info@appsparanormal.org, or you can check out our website www.appsparanormal.org, and you can find all the links you need there.
And if you're wondering what is on the table, it is something that's going to be featured coming up after Summerfest in Potsdam, which is
July,
mid-July. And it's a duo tumbler, so it has two different types of lids, and it says "I listen to Apps Alchemy," and it has the logo wrapped around it.
Yes,
awesome.
we're going to be launching, and we'll talk about this again in future episodes. We're going to be launching a new Facebook page. For those of you who have wanted to help us out but don't know how, and you'll get a little something back in return. It's gonna be named the Apps Donation Station, and so that way we're gonna be putting up probably monthly some sort of raffle or some sort of giveaway that you can buy a chance for. And then that helps us out, and you get a little something in return, just for being you, so to speak, and for your generosity.
Yep, and this is just a little sneak peek of what's to come for things you could possibly get for during like fundraisers and raffles and stuff like that.
So So thanks everybody for tuning in and listening, and we will see you on the next one.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.